screenwriter, a director, a producer, and founder of the production company Different by Design. He's going to talk with us tonight about his film Chasing 3000, starring Ray Liotta, which is a story of two brothers' cross-country journey to witness the 3000th hit of Pirates great Roberto Clemente. So we'd like to welcome into the War Room for the very first time, Mr. Greg Lanesey. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Pretty good, man. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good.
How's everything out on the left coast?
I got my fatigues on. Do I need them for the War Room?
You got your fatigues on? Yeah, you might need them. You might need them. So, yeah, we're going to get right into it. So we're going to talk about this movie a little bit. Now, we know Chasing 3000 was based on a true story, but what was the inspiration behind you wanting to tell the story of these two brothers?
Well, Chasing 3000 was is an original screenplay by Bill Makita, and he and his brother, it's based on the true story of their life. And they lived a couple hours, maybe about an hour, I should say, outside of Pittsburgh. And Bill's younger brother in real life had muscular dystrophy, and they were huge Pirate fans, and it really meant everything to his younger brother, who was in a wheelchair his whole life. It meant everything to him to go to a Pittsburgh game, and to travel like an hour or two was like traveling cross country. I mean, it was a huge endeavor for him and his disability to go to the game. Right. And so sat down, and it was also a lot about the relationship between him and his brother and everything he's gone through. And he was like, how do I get this story, this relationship, and the love I have for the brother, and also the difficult emotions that I have in living your whole life with someone who is so, debilitated physically like that. And he put it into a script, and he came out and he walked around Hollywood with it and got lots of great feedback, and people said this and people said that. But like everything else, they say, thank you, but we're passing. And he happened upon a producer who was a big baseball fan, and so he optioned it. And I, with my production company, had done some business with Ryan. He's a producer that I'm referencing, Ryan Johnson. And so I said, hey, let me take a look at that, because I love sports movies, and I've written some sports stuff and done other sports things. And we sort of bonded over it, and then I met Bill, and they felt like I was the right guy to do it. So we sat down and took another pass at the script with Bill, and, he certainly did a good job on the first draft, and it was a great foundation. And we did a few more tweaks, and it's something you always do as a director. It's not that you do it purposefully to make the movie your own, but when you read something, you interpret a story a certain way, and when you interpret it that new way, it's often some things might be missing, and so you got to fill in the gaps. And what was great was that Bill and I had a wonderful relationship. Most writers, and I've been on the other end as a writer, you get cut out of that loop. Somebody else wants a different movie than script, and the minute you start to object or say, well, what about this and what about that, they're like, we've heard enough of you, buddy. Chump, you're gone, and then they go hire another writer. And because it was
Greg.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Greg, but you just made a point about making the movie your own. And most of us are movie guys, and by the way, this is Jimmy the Worm. Most of us are movie guys, so we understand like how adapting a true story to the screen requires some tweaking and sometimes embellishment. Did you have to make any major changes to the story to make the film like Hollywood worthy? What major changes were there?
I didn't make major changes to make it Hollywoodish. I did work on some things dramatically, because in any story you need to have the right kind of drama. There's different kinds of drama, and some dramas play great in a book, and other dramas play great in your memories. But when you're on screen, and I have to, as a director, come up with visual ways and through dialogue to represent the drama. So some of those things I had to play with. But the that I know Bill did before was like, instead of making the trip, an hour, he made the trip across country, because we needed the drama of the kids stealing their mom's car and wanting to come after them, and the kids having to deal with fatigue and all that kind of stuff. But that was kind of it. There wasn't really a lot of stuff that we had to do to sort of, make it Hollywood. I mean, there's bookends at the beginning and the end, and Ray Liotta plays that character who, it's a tried and true, formula for how you tell a story. It's a period piece, is somebody's reminiscing, and hopefully when you do those stories, when you get to the bookend at the end, which in ours I think it works, there's a nice little twist. The movie's not really over until you see the bookend, and then you understand how everything happens, resolved.
Yeah, it was an excellent movie. I definitely watched it. Excellent movie.
Yep, definitely. Greg, this is This is Paul, man. I just had a quick question for you. Speaking of Ray Liotta, the movie Goodfellas has played a major part in all of our lives. I mean, I think any of us could act out the entire movie for you right now. We're big fans of Ray Liotta. But what was it like working with him? What kind of guy is he?
Ray was a good guy. I mean, I didn't film with him that much because he's bookended in the beginning and the end of the movie. From a production standpoint, you're always trying to save money, so we actually shot him out 2 days. We had to work into his schedule, and he flew into Pittsburgh. All of his stuff was in Pittsburgh, and we shot like crazy on Saturday. And then he's buddies with Mario. They worked out in Venice at the Gold's Gym here, and so there was a home game. So he took me to the hockey game on Saturday night, and then back on Sunday we were working like crazy again. And then we ran into each other again, doing ADR after the set. But he wasn't on the set a lot. He was only on it for a couple of days because that's how it works. He sort of earned that right, and that's the value that comes with having him involved in the project.
Got it.
But there was so many actors that were in the show that came out because of who Roberto Clemente was. Character actors, people in their 40s and 50s, and even close to 60, who grew up as baseball fans, knowing Roberto Clemente out, and it was like you're in it for one scene. I mean, there's a lot of actors in Chasing 3000 at one scene, and you don't find them in any other movie doing one scene unless they got cut out, except for that one scene. But because it's not a role that goes beginning to end and has character arc. They're more filling each scene has its own little arc, and so all kinds of people stepped up and came out. I mean, there's probably 12 names that through the way they negotiate Hollywood, we had to put their names ahead of the title because they've all earned that that sort of credit.
I actually noticed that watching the movie, how many people were in one scene. And I actually said something. I said that's a lot of people that actors that I recognize.
Yeah.
They were in one scene, so it's funny you say that.
Well, that's a credit to our casting director as well as Ryan Johnson, the producer, because when you do a low budget film, low budget was $a few million. When you do that, they say, okay, well, spend your money on one or two people and then just get no names to fill the rest. And he's like, screw that. I want to get everyone I possibly can. And so he sort of broke the mold a little bit, and that's why there's like 9 or 10 people that are populating. I mean, even the teenage girl on the train is, she was in Lost for a whole season, and the other guy from Desperate Housewives is in there, and Emmett Walsh has been in a million movies. He's the old guy farmer at the end, and Michael.
Even the guy, what's the guy's name from The Shield? The guy that plays in The Shield, he was in there as well. He played like the older Roger. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Carnes.
Oh yeah.